Welcome back to Rides and Drives Team Radio. I'm Harvey. I'm here with Kaz, and we are super excited because IndyCar returns to our home state of Wisconsin, to Milwaukee this weekend for a two-race weekend. We get three races in Wisconsin this year. Road America, then the Snap-on Makers and Fixers 250 on Saturday, and Sunday it's the Snap-on Milwaukee Mile 250. So that gives us probably 680 miles of racing in Wisconsin. Not bad.
God bless the dairy state. I love racing in Wisconsin. There's something about it that just feels, I mean, it's my home. So of course, I'm sure people from Tennessee feel that way about Nashville. I'm sure people from Georgia feel that way about Barber. But for me, racing in Milwaukee on this really fantastic and unique oval is something I look forward to so much. This race last year, I put it like top three on the season.
Oh yeah.
Man, it was a
Yeah.
great race. And we've got two opportunities to deliver that kind of excitement. I have no doubt that we will, because when you listen to the drivers talk about this track, they are always enthused to get racing in Milwaukee. And we'll talk
Yeah.
about why in a minute, but we do want to start with a great piece of news, which is the Milwaukee Mile has signed a deal with IndyCar to continue racing there for the next 5 years. I'm
Thanks
so
to
thrilled about
Snap-on.
that.
Yeah, thanks to Snap-on Tools.
Mhm.
They signed on as the title sponsor for the next 5 years. So great Milwaukee company, a iconic automotive brand, and the mechanics, the tools that the mechanics use. So if it's the best of the best, so it's so great to have them on board.
Yeah, I like when a sponsor relates to the sport. As a
Yeah.
side note, it's not vitally important, but it does just feel a little bit nicer.
At least it's not another crypto thing,
Oh
you know?
God, or a nicotine pouch company,
Yeah.
like
Uh,
just bring back the Marlboro car at that point. Come on.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
But I think that this, obviously sponsorship and money is probably among the most important pieces of making this happen. But the other thing that people always talk about establishing a short oval as a regular on the IndyCar calendar, you need to prove you can sell out. Milwaukee has not done that, did not do that last year, has not yet done that this year, although there is still time. And I think State Fair is going to do a great job getting us close.
Yep.
Um, I think that this really just goes to show how much faith IndyCar has in their ability to get it there and how much faith IndyCar has in the product that this racetrack produces every year.
No, I agree. This is one of the most entertaining races of the year. You can run two, three lines on this track. So
Mhm.
wheel to wheel action. Last year, I forget, there was some absurd number of on track passes. I think it was upwards of 300
Yeah, I would
in
try
that
and make
race.
an estimate, but I would say something absurdly high, and then I would look it up after, and it would be too low.
Yeah,
It
but
was
it,
action,
it's
start
just
to finish.
passing right from the beginning. We saw Connor Daly make a great run from the
Mm.
back of the track. We saw that great run that Christian Rasmussen made at the end to pass 8 cars to go into the lead in the last 20 laps. So you never know what's going to happen on this track, except that there's going to be great close wheel to wheel action. I had the chance to talk to Renus VK earlier this week about it, and he really talked about how strategic you have to be to drive this track.
Sure.
Um, Ovals are very unique because strategy is the opposite, right? You want to pit as late as possible, so you get uh, you get a free pit stop. You don't go a lap down under yellow. You can be the quickest driver out there, but if you time your yellows wrong and you're not pitting under yellow, um, you're screwed. And I've been on that side of it a few times, on both sides. And it's a very tactical, who's gonna pit first of the lead cars, who's gonna go, and usually if one goes, everybody follows. So strategically, that's fun. it's different, and it's a bit of a stare down on who's gonna go first. Then I think just short oval racing, it is spectacular. You will see action, especially a race like Milwaukee. Drivers are on the edge all the time, and yeah, with 25 cars on a track that's a mile, you will see lap cars being used as a tool for some drivers to drive away from the other cars.
Yeah, and he also just talked about how much he loves it, loves the track, and the drivers generally do. And the other thing they talk about, and I think is important, is the historic nature of this track. This, the Milwaukee Mile, and this is a bar bet fact, friends.
Yeah, pay attention for your next trivia.
Um, the Milwaukee Mile is the oldest continuously operating racetrack in the world. They started auto racing in 1903 on the Milwaukee Mile. They've been doing it every year since, only taking a break for World War II.
Yeah, I
So,
I love that
um,
little fact about my
you
home
know,
state.
and the thing that's funny is they were racing horses there for 50 years before that. So this has been a racetrack forever, practically.
Yeah.
But, I mean, history is one thing if the product isn't great, but you get history and a great product, and you get a great city like Milwaukee. A lot of people may not know much about Milwaukee. I live a little more than an hour away from there, get there pretty regularly. I know, a lot of friends there and have spent a lot of time in Milwaukee. Great restaurants, great art. You can go to the Calatrava, the Milwaukee Museum of Art down there. The Brewers are just up the street from State Fair Park, where the Milwaukee Mile is.
I
Just
want to toss
all,
in great live music as well. Every
yeah.
variety from tiny little punk clubs all the way up through their symphony. Absolutely excellent stuff to do in the city of Milwaukee.
Yeah, and restaurants. Every kind of food you want. It's not all German beer halls anymore.
Although the
Uh,
German beer halls are great and you should stop at one.
they are. You should.
Something else that's really important to note about Milwaukee, we are 2 hours from Chicago. We are
Yeah.
4.5 hours from Minneapolis, St. Paul, 6 hours from Detroit, yeah, 5.5, 4.5, sorry, from Indianapolis, because I'll be doing the 5.5 hour drive from Bloomington.
Yep.
It feels, a little, because of how north Wisconsin is, it feels a little bit more remote, but it is a really accessible city to get to from a lot of other major cities in the United States. Um,
Right.
this this is a really, really good one that's
And
easier to get to than you think.
easy to get to and affordable. The
Hmm.
most expensive ticket for the whole weekend. So you're getting practice and two races, and not just IndyCar races, but Indy Next races for $240. And that gets you a seat on the start finish line at the grandstand where you can see the whole track for the entire race. It's not like Indy where you just get to see what's happening in front of you or a road course or that. You
Hmm.
sit up there on that second row of the grandstands and you can see all the way around the track, every pass, every incident. And the pits are right there in front of you. It's just it's a super venue and a great place to really get to know oval racing.
That's such a wild deal. If I were going as a fan, I'm normally like I'm buying the cheapest ticket I can find. I think I might actually spring for that. That
Yeah.
is such a great deal. Now,
Well,
when
and
you're at the race, Harvey's right. You should have your eyes glued to the track the whole time because you can see every single piece. But there's also a lot of other stuff to do while you're
yeah.
there because the Milwaukee Mile is located, as Harvey said, in State Fair Park. And the Wisconsin State Fair is responsible for the marketing and production of this event. Um, these guys know how to throw a party, you guys. The
Oh
Wisconsin
yeah.
State Fair is so much fun.
Great
And,
beer
and they bring
halls.
all of that expertise to this.
Yeah, you've got all the great beer halls right out there, restaurants right outside the track. So, if you want to in the middle of the race, you can wander over, get a good beer, not
Hmm.
just standard American lager. You can get your cream puffs Wisconsin State Fair staple.
Yeah, I
You might
recommend
want
that
to
you
try
do.
those.
But like
Probably a
share them with
fried,
three other people, because they're
yeah,
huge.
probably a fried Snickers or two,
Mm.
something like that. There's always something fried on a stick there.
My
So,
big recommendation if you're looking for food at the Wisconsin State Fairgrounds, yeah, they always do fun, clever, interesting new stuff, but the sweet corn dipped in melted butter and
oh
salted
yeah,
that you just carry around by the husk is for me the best thing that you can have in that park. And
and
I'm sure
and
they'll be selling them. I really, really recommend you grab one if you're
and
headed there.
now is the perfect time of year
Ah,
for sweet corn in Wisconsin. So,
absolutely ideal. So
yeah,
you've got this really great day inside of this really great city. It's not just the race itself that's affordable, by the way. If you're talking a major hotel, like a very nice hotel room in a major city, you're obviously going to pay less in Milwaukee than you are in Chicago. Comparable restaurants tend to be a little bit less expensive per person. And if you are a drinker, you're not going to get drunk for cheaper than
what?
in the state of
Okay,
Wisconsin.
since this is your milieu, give me three bars fans have to go to in Milwaukee.
I've hit a bar or two in Milwaukee, and while I have my personal favorites that might not be on this particular list, if you want to get a sense of what Milwaukee is like, I recommend that you go to the following three places. Mater's is a very old school German beer hall. Everybody's in a dirndl and lederhosen, and they serve you beer in the big giant steins. You can get a boot if you would like. I find them to be pretty unhygienic, so I don't, but that's not my business. The food is excellent. Your sausages, pretzel, schnitzel, really, really
Yeah,
great stuff. So hitting up Mater's is there's just not a lot of places outside of Wisconsin where you can go like this. And if you
yeah.
want to get a sense of what Milwaukee is, I think that's important. Um, Another thing that you need if you're heading to Milwaukee is an classic Wisconsin dive bar. And I really like Fink's. It's a little more cocktaily than your typical dive bar, but I love the neighborhood that it's in. The service is excellent and the cocktails are great. So if you're
They'll make you
looking
a
to
good
spend a
old
little bit
fashioned.
more,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, one of the better old fashions I've had in my life. You can get at Fink's. Do be prepared to answer when the bartender looks at you and say, "Don't just order an old fashioned. You need to say brandy or whiskey, and you need to say sweet or sour. And if you want to be advanced, choose your garnish as well. Otherwise, the bartender will improvise." Um, but yeah, Fink's is great. It's really near Wolski's, which is a classic Milwaukee music venue that you might have heard of. So if you want to make that a night, great. But if you're looking for live music in Milwaukee, check out what's playing at X-Ray Arcade that same
Mm.
weekend. It is a punk music club. I've been to just tons of fantastic nights there. Most recently, I saw the band Wheatus, who does Teenage Dirtbag, do a
Okay.
revival show. Wow, they're still just as great now as they were in 1999, man. I really I it's a little out of the way, but not too far from State Fair Park. And if I'm thinking about what I would like to do if I were there for the race as a fan, attend the race, have a great day at the track, go grab a drink somewhere, and then go to a cool show. That sounds like a great Milwaukee night.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. So lots of great stuff to do in Milwaukee. Let's talk a little bit about the race
Yeah.
itself now. Just a couple of facts. Only primary tires on
Hmm.
this oval. I know they experimented with running alternate tires in Nashville this year, but Milwaukee will only have primaries. So each team will get 16 sets for the entire weekend. Um, Interesting thing last year, I just want to bring this up because as we talk about the IR 28 coming on, this is one of the reasons. I think this fact here, um, last year, Alex Palou's 2 lap qualifying speed was 152.63 miles an hour.
Hmm.
In 1998, Patrick Carpentier qualified. They only did 1 lap qualifying back then, but
Okay.
his qualifying speed was 185.5 miles an hour. So
Whew.
we're talking 33 miles an hour faster than the cars are going today. And, you can't call yourself the fastest racing on earth if you're not faster than you used to be. So
I don't know.
let's go
Milwaukee's
faster,
crazy
boys.
enough, man. This has me very excited to see the IR28 on these streets. I
Yeah.
totally get why they're digging into that speed and talking about breaking records now. It works with the marketing that they're doing, and I agree with you. If you're gonna market yourself as the fastest racing on earth, get a little bit faster. So hopefully we'll see a small uptick this year from Alex
Yeah.
Flow's 153, you said. Um,
Yeah, it was 152.63, 47.87 seconds for 2 laps.
yeah, well, that's pretty quick.
So we'll see if we can go faster. I'm looking forward to this race too, because obviously the championship is still technically in play, but with 2 races, Alex can wrap it up on Saturday with a good performance. If he finishes, what is it, like 23 points ahead of Kirkwood, he closes it out.
Yeah, if he's up 108 after the race on Saturday, the championship is over and done. A part of me is kind of hoping that does happen just so that we can all stop talking about it. I know Honda released a press release recently talking about how the championship is still open and like yeah, I like the math works, but
Right.
the world doesn't. If the 10 car has a second terrible race in a row, I might be okay with talking about it.
Right.
But
They're
I have no faith that that's going to happen. The 10
be-
car made all of their mistakes in one race. Now they're
and
done. They have no more mistakes.
and Alex finished second here last year, would have finished first if it wasn't for that rainstorm that allowed Rasmussen to put on fresh tires. So,
Man, talk about strategy. Yeah, going
yeah.
back to Arenas saying how important strategy is here. And Rasmussen talked about that at the end of the race, that it was not a last second decision. That was always the plan.
Right.
Man, sorry, tangent, but yes, back to the championship fight. It's even easier for him to close out on Sunday. What does he need to be 48
If he's up
points?
54 points, it's
54.
it's locked out. So
Sure.
we'll see what happens. Regardless of where the championship is, we're going to see some great racing. Again, Milwaukee is also one of those places where it's really easy to get close to the action, to see
Mhm.
drivers, all that stuff. They'll be out doing autograph sessions in the State Fair Park. So, yeah, if you don't have tickets, get here. If you're in Chicago, it's an easy drive up for the day.
Yeah.
And both of these races are afternoon races, so you can get up there, see a lot of action, enjoy the race, get in the car, be home before 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Or get a great hotel room in Milwaukee and make a whole weekend of it, because I promise you that it is not a weekend you will regret if you are an IndyCar fan. I kind of want to close talking about this race with one of my favorite quotes from a race car driver that we've ever gotten directly,
Yeah.
which was when you asked David Malukas last year after qualifiers what he expects of this race. And he said it was going to be beautiful chaos. That was not because of last year. That's
Yeah.
because of this track and how competitive this field is. And this field has only gotten more competitive since David said that this time last year. I expect the same again. He was correct. That
Yeah.
is exactly what we got. I expect the same again.
Yeah, and I expect Malukas to be in the mix of that beautiful chaos this
Man, I
year.
hope so.
He needs a solid race here after a couple of bad weeks in a row,
Kiddo deserves it as far as I'm concerned.
for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so that's what we know about Milwaukee. We will be back Saturday after the first race to give our reaction to that, and we'll also do a reaction show on Sunday. So stay tuned to Rides and Drives Team Radio for all of that. You can follow us on social media. I'm Harvey_drives. She's Fast Car Kaz, and we are Rides and Drives Team Radio on TikTok, right?
Yes, that's correct. And guys, I'm not sure if we actually mentioned this, but this particular one, we will be trackside for qualifiers and both races. So if you were debating checking out the socials, this is a good weekend to do it. There'll be a lot of little bits from what it's like at the track and a lot of little conversations with drivers.
Yep. So look forward to seeing you all at the track this weekend. Until then, we're out.
Drive safe, everybody.